one of those days where you feel like nothing is working, or I can't think straight. I don't know what the deal is. And I think it's a testament to the importance of simplicity and focus and doing as few things as possible, because there's so many things I could do, so many projects, so many things that I can't figure out what to prioritize in my brain, and it's creating this angst, this anxiety. Normally I'm fine. I just pick a couple things, I do them. Today's one of those weird days that it's not obvious what I should work on. There's a bunch of little things, and then something came up in business, some app error for our e-commerce site that I wasn't planning on diving into, and then I did, and then the whole time I'm in it, I'm like, like I have this inner angst slash anxiety. I don't know what other word for it, but I have that because I feel like I'm doing this thing, being pulled into this thing that I don't want to be spending my time on. And oh man, it's like, what do you do on those days? Part of me wants to just like go home and play video games, but I decided I'm gonna record a podcast. I'm gonna just like get it out. Let's release some of it. So we're gonna have the Better Hammond newsletter coming out tomorrow, or probably Sunday. I'm doing it Sundays now. Actually, I'm gonna do it tomorrow because we're taking a road trip to Florida Sunday, and so I'm gonna do a quick short update video talking to you YouTubers out there, talking to my newsletter. I'll post this in the newsletter. I'm gonna start doing like a daily video for that. I'm not gonna really coincide the content I cover in this video with the newsletter. So if you want that extra content, go to colin.coach, get on that newsletter, and make sure you read it. I'm gonna do my favorite new thing for doing videos, is just picking things online to talk about and then talking about them, and then for 10 minutes I can rant and rave and offer some value, and then bam, let you go. So here's the first video. Look at this. A beach in the 70s, not one fat body. How the food industry destroyed us. I believe that was a thread. But I mean, look at this stuff. It's amazing. Look how lean people were. And it's sad because it's sad in a lot of ways, but it shows you how the average person, through groupthink and following what other people do on a large level, how few people are able to think for themselves, and they just follow whatever the mainstream narrative is. It is really freaking sad. It is so sad. There is so much information available today on how to eat clean, how to live clean, how to get sleep, how to exercise. Like, we have every possible bit of technology to help people do that. Yet people still sit in front of their TV or couch all day, snacking on junk food, and then being afraid, watching the news, fear porn mania. Like, it's incredible and incredibly sad, actually. It's just really bad. This post not by Richard Feynman because he's dead, but by a quote or a Twitter account that somebody's doing of his, which is actually pretty cool, fun thing. I'm definitely tired too. They take this dead person who's got this famous brand, and then they post things that are relevant to his brand, and then they create their own brand using someone else's. It's pretty fascinating. But again, about society, this comic, right? You have unpleasant truths on the right side. Nobody's in line for that. And then you have the comforting lies, the convenient narrative, which are always not fully the picture. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm recording a video. I'm going to probably leave soon. Yeah, I might go to the grocery store. I might not. I don't know. Well, I'm about to go to HEB, so. Well, then just go there. Whatever. Okay, bye. Why are you going to HEB? All right, whatever. All right, I got to turn this off. So I'm not interrupted again. Sorry about that. All right. So, obviously, you look at this graphic and we can think about how, yeah, our neighbors are idiots, or the people down the road, or the people online, or whatever. But we have to make sure that we actually look inward with this type of stuff. It's so easy to project this and be like, oh yeah, ha ha, and use it as another us versus them. But the reality is we all seek comforting lies in our lives, and we all need to seek out the unpleasant truths, because that's obviously the best foundation. Like, do you want to build your life and everything you do based on truth, or not truth, or lies, or things that are wrong, or ill-advised, or not fully fussed out? Like, it should be obvious. But if you take this to their logical end and you spend 20 to 50 years of your life following the narrative, doing things without critically thinking about them, without getting down to the foundations and the truth, like how do you think it's going to manifest? It's going to manifest in cancer, heart disease, or an early death in some way. It's going to probably manifest in you not pursuing your dreams because you're afraid of what other people think, or you think that, you know, being rich, successful, and whatever thing that you want to do, you think that's only reserved for some lucky people or some super talented people, or otherwise you're going to have a victim mindset around it. The closer you can get to truth, the better opportunity you have to live your best life. That's really what it comes down to. And the best chance you have at staving off things like modern disease and just being unhappy, being depressed, things like that. The more you seek out comforting truths, and as they say, comfort is killer, the more you seek that out, the more it will manifest in these fragilities in your life. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to wake up one day and then get this diagnosis that there's some tumor growing in me somewhere and I got to go to the doctor, and then my life is literally turned upside down. And I just always thought, oh, it wouldn't happen to me, or some other BS I tell myself, some other comforting lie, right? I want to stave that off, prevent that, mitigate that as much as I can, because I know it can happen. I know that any day of my life it can happen. I'm already 36. Last week I was 36. I'm going to be 40 soon. Holy shit. I remember when I was like early 20s, like I got to do all these things. I want to make all this money. The time goes so freaking fast. So fast. So let's get through a few more. So this is a James Clear newsletter. His are always pretty good, so I'll read through a few. He calls it the 3-2-1. Pushing yourself, listening, and a simple rule for life and work. A simple rule for life and work. Don't rush, but don't wait. Thoughtful action. That's good. Maybe I'll share that on Twitter. Your life is purchased by where you spend your attention. I've literally gone twice in the middle of a video. I don't think I've on in a video in a long time. I think maybe that's part of why I can't focus. I'm still have the remnants of being tired. The boys caught a bug. And so, yeah, I've been trying to take it easy, but man, it's still there. So the process, decide what you want to achieve. Step 1, try different ways of achieving it until you find the one that works for you. Step 2, do more of what works, do less of what doesn't. Step 3, and don't stop doing until it stops working. Step 4, and then you repeat the process. This is very much the same process you follow in what I call the success loop, the success or the feedback loop of success. I got to figure out what I want to brand that, but it's this idea of action to result to learning to action. It just goes around. And as long as you keep doing that, right? And generally those are the growth mindset are the ones that keep doing it, because most people quit or they seek comfort and they just give up. Like they might try a little bit of things here and there. They might stick their toe into the pool and then it's a little bit too cold and they pull it out like, oh, it's not for me. A lot of people have a lot of business ideas, or they're always on some next new thing or whatever. And they stick their toe in a little bit, or a lot of people don't even do anything. They just talk about it. If you go out there and you take actions and you get feedback from life, from people, from yourself, from whatever, from reality, and then you learn from that feedback so that the next action you take can be a little bit better. That is what it is. That is the feedback loop, or the success loop. Action to learning to better action to learning, like just round and round and round. All right. If you never fail, you're only trying things that are too easy and playing far below your level. If you can't remember any time in the last 6 months when you failed, you aren't trying to do difficult enough things. Very, very true. Deep listening is an act of surrender. I'm not going to get to this. It's a bit longer, but you can find this. Obviously, the URL's right there. What do I keep coming back to? What is that telling me? It's a question for you. Here's a good one. Just like a low resting heart rate is the byproduct of intense exercise, low resting heart rate is a sign of metabolic health, because your brain or your heart doesn't have to work fast to pump blood. It's very strong. It's a strong muscle. And so it requires less heartbeats to do that. Whereas high heartbeat has to really struggle to get blood through your body. And there's a lot of issues with that. And I think over the long run, it leads to aging faster and dying faster, and maybe potentially even heart disease, whatever. But what he's saying here is Low resting heart rate is a byproduct of intense exercise, yes. And then low anxiety is the byproduct of intense self-examination. As Socrates said, the unexamined life isn't worth living, and know thyself. And he would continually ask, who are you? Who am I? If you don't spend a lot of time getting to know yourself, getting to know who you truly are, what you truly want, I mean, like, how can you be effective? How can you be effective in your own life for yourself? You don't even know what you want. Like, how do you know if what you're doing is bringing you in the right direction? Like, this is a hard thing. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to do, is to know yourself, to ask hard questions, to test things, and to listen, and to be deeply, sincerely honest about that. Because a lot of things that you want in life are going to rub up the wrong way against people in your life, against norms, against mores, against family values, against society. Maybe in your relationships, maybe monogamy isn't your thing, and you want to try something outside of that. There's going to be plenty of pressure to shame you back into a little box that society deems as appropriate. Entrepreneurship, taking risks, I mean, everything in human life, for most humans, and I would say all humans to some extent, but most of us, everything is defined by the people and the environment around us. The way we dress, how we think about ourselves, how we small talk with people, whether we say hi to somebody walking on the street, like, everything is defined, and we have this kind of relationship with the things around us. We have a relationship with our friends and what we think that they think about us and how we should be. Same thing with our family, our relationships, or certain status quos, your community, what's acceptable, what's not, school, work, everything. And if you don't self-examine, those outside external forces will mold you into who knows what, just something. It's taken me years to get to this point. Years to truly not care. And I do care at times. Like, there's like, I'm an animal. I'm a human animal. And there are certain things that are built into my biology that even if I can consciously override them a lot and most of the time, it's still going to be there. Like, I'm still going to sometimes care about what people think, or like get frustrated by them, or like, there's always going to be something. Like, I don't really think that any normally regulated human can completely detach from the opinions of other people. But you can get so high up on that level that effectively it doesn't really matter, because you've identified what's right for you. You're pursuing that mission and that purpose. And yeah, there's going to be some issues along the way or whatever, and you work through those, and certain people will come into your life and some will exit. But for all effective purposes, you can get to that place where you generally don't really care what people think. And that is the life that is worth living. That is the life that's going to bring you the most fulfillment and happiness, and ironically, success and external validation. Like, it's funny because human nature tries to mold people into this little box, but then they celebrate the people that aren't going to be put into that box, that stand out, that lead, that literally say, no, F you, I'm doing my own thing. It's really fascinating and bizarre at the same time. All right, so I do have to get some groceries here. Let's see if we got one more in here. Okay, so there are fundamentally two huge games in life that people play. I believe this is from the Almanac of Naval book as well. The Almanac of Naval, I have like 4 copies in here. I always need to give them away. One is a money game. Money is not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to solve all of your money problems. I think people know that. They realize that. So they want to make money. At the same time, deep down, many people believe that they can't make it. So they don't want any wealth creation to happen. They virtue signal by attacking the whole enterprise, saying, well, making money is evil. You shouldn't do it. But they're actually playing the other game, which is the status game. They're trying to be high status in the eyes of others by saying, well, I don't need money. We don't need money. Status is your ranking in the social hierarchy. Wealth is wealth is not a zero-sum game. Everybody in the world can have a house. Because you have a house doesn't take away from your ability to have a house, or my ability to have a house. So what he's saying here is that everybody can have a house. This idea that if somebody's rich, it means other people have to be poor. It's complete nonsense. If you actually understand capitalism and free markets, someone like Jeff Bezos, Musk, whatever, these people become billionaires because they give people what they want. They give other people what they want. That's how you make money. That's what capitalism is. It's as simple as that. I give you something you want, and you give me money in exchange. You're not forced to play that game. You're not forced to buy this thing you want. No, nothing. So if I become rich because I give a bunch of people, like 1 billion people, what they want, how in the fuck is that demonized? That should be celebrated. And the reality is every major advancement in technology in the history of mankind, pretty much every single one, was a result of free market forces and entrepreneurs, people creating things for the goal of making money to improve their life. That's why we have so much of what we have. If anything, the more houses that are built, the easier it becomes to build houses. The more we know about building houses, and the more people can have houses. That's what creative destruction is. That's what technological and entrepreneurial advancement is and research. It makes everything better for everybody. It also makes things cheaper, which is deflation, which is good. We get more things for less money. That's what a productive economy is supposed to do. Wealth is a very positive sum game. We create things together. We're starting this endeavor to create a piece of art that explains what we're doing. At the end of it, something brand new will be created. It's a positive sum game. Well, I've yawned twice and I'm coughing. I'll put this up in the newsletter. Get the newsletter if you're on YouTube. Colin.coach, 1L. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be doing more of these, be putting these out often. I'm going to be out for a little bit. I'm going on a road trip, but I'll probably still record here and there. And I'm yawning again. I don't get it. Oh, man. Maybe I just realized I'm tired. That's why I couldn't focus earlier. Maybe I actually will get coffee, second round of coffee, even though I really don't like doing that. Oh, here's the URLs. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Colin.coach. Get the Better Human newsletter and podcast. And then my new pod, morebettermen.com. That's launching soon. I got some few articles up already. I'll see you in the next one.